Alright, welcome back to the island here in Ark Survival Ascended. This is going to be our first video for the Ark Basics series here for Ark Ascended. And we're starting off with my top 10 base locations for the PvE on the islands. And in at number 10, down here around what a lot of people call Stonehenge, like the game calls it the Southern Islet. On the map, it is down here, let's zoom out a bit, down here on the southern coast, right in the middle, around 95 by 55. Now, and I'm considering this whole zone here potential basing locations. If I were doing it, I'd probably build down here, or at least have some building down here for dino storage. You can do a bunch of different buildings, some fishing boat houses. The water's good enough you can get your raft in and out. You could also do a rope city going across all these little pillars of stone. This would be a pretty fun base location. The only drawbacks are it is way down here at the bottom of the map. The red obelisk is somewhat close, green's up here, but then volcano's way up here, and blue obelisk is all the way up here. Well, all the way up here. I don't even have it on the map yet. But you got water for your irrigation needs, your water needs. Make sure you stay hydrated. It's important. Big flat area for your dinos. You can even build up on this cliff here and look out at the little Stonehenge stuff. Have a nice, awesome view out the back door of your summer home. This is a nice big flat area up here. You can do a lot up here as well. But yeah, that is number 10. Let's move on to number 9. Alright, here we are for number 9 on this list. It's up here in the cold, so it's not a beginner base location, not an early game base location. You gotta at least have your fur, so you gotta be able to kill some mammoths and rhinos to get your fur gear going, and be whatever level that is. I don't remember the number, but at the top of this waterfall, I'd go back a bit so I don't have to listen to it. You hear how loud that is. You can even do it at the base of the waterfall down there. Fish, I don't know why fish make noise now. That's so weird. But basically, I would, around, all of this is relatively large and flat. You can box in your tames. And the biggest thing about this, you got fur everywhere, so it's not going to be hard to get your fur gear going once you're around here. But easy access down this hill and around to Uteranus, which those are a really important late game tame that can be kind of a pain to get a high level one. It seems like they fixed the levels a bit, so it might not be as annoying as it used to be, but I'm not in the late game yet, so I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, you could even come down here if you wanted, but the ground's a little steeper down here, so it's gonna be a little harder to get your stuff boxed in. You could build across the lake too, across the water here, and then have the glacial waterfall as your backdrop. It's another just stunningly beautiful location. That's probably the real reason this was on the list, because it's just so awesome looking. It's on the edge of the snow, so you can still get out, go south and get warm if you got to for a little while. And just look at how blue this water is. How do you not want to just be on this river all the time? And let's get back over here and get the coordinates. Oh, and get our stamina back. The coordinates here at this waterfall are 38 by 41. And it's pretty good, a decently central location. It's probably reasonably close to the blue obelisk up here. You got volcano would be a pretty short walk up to the volcano, so going to the final boss wouldn't be too bad. You get metal and crystal there as well. This mountain's close enough for metal. Metal up here in the snow. And obviously Rexes and Argentavis around the volcano. And then yeah, quick easy access to Uteranus. Probably the closest base I would have to Uteranus. And yeah, that's number 9 on the list. Let's move on to number 8. Alright, number 8 is over here, somewhat close to the red obelisk. There's this big lake, small lake, medium-sized lake. There's this water feature. And it kind of turns into these little river things and goes over a waterfall down here. On the map, it is down in the southwest, around 95 by 14. And I really like, if I was going to build here, I'd build up here on these little islands and expand across all of them. You got plenty of water. Anywhere you can put your water intake anywhere. And you can even move down a little bit if you can tolerate the sound of a waterfall. Got a Carno over here just hanging out. Or you can even build down here and have the waterfall as a backdrop. They can swim now. Well, sort of. Which, you could build it on this little island in here. Build a little basin down here. Would be fun. And you could even go all the way down and get on the beach and have this waterfall and lagoon as your backdrop. Like, any one of them would be beautiful. And down here, you're close enough to the ocean, and it's all deep enough you can take your raft in and out. And fish make noise now in Ark Ascended for reasons. Oh, apparently Spinos spawn over here, so you gotta be careful of that. One potential negative. But yeah, that's number 8. Let's move on to number 7. Alright, and number 7, we have one of the most changed features on the map. Not that bird, whatever made noise down there at me. But these used to be pillars in the middle of this river here. But now they connect over to the land, so you can actually walk dinos up and down. And they're pretty big. Like, they're definitely big enough that you can have some dinos up here. Like, not your whole Rex army for sure. You'll have to have like a secondary location down here. Or even on the other pillar over here. Over here. Over here. Here we go. Over here. Oh, this one might actually be a pillar. Yeah, you can't walk up to this one. Never mind. You can't do that. But you could put, like, your bird storage over here or something. Flyers. Let me through. I can't see. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's land it and get the map. Oh, it still has metal nodes up here, too. Awesome. So that might be the only reason you don't build here, because the metal nodes, but there's only a few, and I mean, when you look where you're at on the map, who cares about these 3 metal nodes? You have the mountain here, and the coordinates here are 43 or 53.8 by 69.9. And this would be a really good spot. Your water's close enough. It's actually quite a ways down there. You might have to daisy chain it around to get water all the way up here to the top. But maybe, oh no, never mind. They built the spring into it. So yeah, you got easy water, plenty of wood, some metal. If you build near the metal, they won't respawn. But like I said, there's so many mountains nearby. That's not a big deal. It's nice and central. You got the volcano reasonably close. Green is pretty close. Red and blue are still pretty far. So we're getting a little further away from the more convenient areas, which is why this is down at number 7. But yeah, let's move on to number 6 now. Alright, and coming in at number 6 is, there's basically like 3 different potential locations for this little area here. Maybe 4, really, if you want to be down here now that it looks so much better. But we'll start off with up here on this little peninsula. This would be the most difficult of the areas because it doesn't have immediate access to water. It is, give me the map please, there we go, 49.3 by 12. But it's a pretty decent area up here. You can build quite a large area to store your dinos. You're on the map, you're reasonably close to the volcano. You got the blue obelisk to the north, the red to the south, and the only thing that's real far away is the green obelisk. So that's, like, being on the west side of the map has its benefits for that. You can get you can get closer to a lot of different things and only have the one outlier all the way to the east. And then, like, the other 2 or 3 areas of this zone is where I based on my console playthrough. I based up here on top of the waterfall. Like, this is a big open field, relatively flat. Store a bunch of dinos out here. Same on this side. You clear all these trees out. It's a big, wide open area. Plenty of space to store a bunch of dinos before your boss fights. The only problem that I have with this place now is after being here for 1,000 hours, that waterfall is too loud. I don't want to listen to a waterfall ever again in my life. Not in a video game anyway. Like if I can't feel the spritz and spritzels of it, then I don't want to be next to it. But you can also, since they made this look so much better, it's not just a deserty beach. You could base down here and have the waterfall as a backdrop. And the spot up here, it ramps down over into what used to be this beach over on this side, and down right through here, and up here around this this peninsula here is pretty much every carnivore can spawn there. Argentavis, Rexes, Carnos, not Thylacoleos, but saber-tooths, scorpions. Like there's always a bunch of them fighting over there. So if they don't have what you need, just kill them all and come back in 10 minutes. It might be more than 10 minutes, but you know what I mean. And then I also want to include in this location, like you can go up the river here. Where is it? Let's go have a look at it. Some people might say this is cheating. This might be a different location, but it's part of the same river system, so I'm going to count it as part of the same potential base location. It is up here a little ways, so I get it. But look at this waterfall. And it's a little more dangerous up in here too. But you could build across here, build around here, and if I were doing it, I'd be up on top of it, building around on this island in the middle, and expanding out across the water from there. This would get me more inland, and up here, you'd be away from the waterfall, you don't have to listen to it so much. But you can still go look at it anytime you want to see it, which is always fun. And you got plenty of water, obviously. Volcano is right there. Is that it? Yeah, wow. I don't remember the volcano having snow on its slopes. That doesn't look right. Is that a render issue from rain making it shiny? But that's the volcano. So you got Metal, Rexes, Argentavis over there, and you can still go over to that place where a whole bunch of stuff spawns over the west. But yeah, this all comes out to be number 6 for me. These three different locations. All right, and coming in at number 5 on the list. If you watched the Ark Evolved series, this might come as a little shock. Might think it's a little lower than you expect me to put it on the list. But this is the east side of the Central River. This whole nub right here, around 47 by 63. You got mountain straight to the north for easy metal. Volcano's close. Green's reasonably close. More metal over here if you need it. You got the snow biomes somewhat close. Carno, you're on the half of the map with Carno Island anyway, so it's not too terribly difficult to get up there and start getting your Rexes or Argentavis. The only real problem is Red Obelisk is a long ways away, and Blue Obelisk is pretty far away too. But you're still relatively central. It's not quite as flat as some of the other locations, which is another reason I bumped it down the list a little bit. Like it's definitely flat enough. Like you just have to build with some pillars, which I did in the last series. But you got water on both sides of you, so you got plenty of area to get your greenhouse up and get your water in. And you got this awesome tube here that you can go through. It looks a little smaller than it used to be. I'm not going to try and get my Pteranodon stuck in there right now. But you can walk through there and get straight into the redwoods. And they got their own mountain for metal over there, and there's a cave in there. Really the only downside to this spot is it's not very flat underneath all these trees. It's workable, and actually if they let you get rid of... no, they got grass all over the top of them. There's no way they'll let you get rid of them. But these rocks right here are probably the biggest problem. But it's not too bad. I did most of a wipe on it. It's pretty fun, nice and central. But yeah, that's number 5, 6, 5. Number 5. Let's move on to number 4. All right, coming in at number 4, we have, I think it's called the Hidden Lake up here. Yeah, the Hidden Lake. It's a pretty nice little lake. It's got 3 different entrances that you can just wall off and be basically safe. Dinos are supposed to not walk off cliffs as much as they used to, so you shouldn't have as many problems of like Rexes or Therazinos or whatever just walking off the cliff into your base that used to exist and evolved. Yeah, you got plenty of water, lots of wood, the jungle's all around you, and obviously the sun's getting low here, the sun's starting to set, and it's just beautiful. It looks, everything in this game just always looks amazing. I probably don't have to keep saying it, but I can't help myself. On the map, it is up here in the northeast that is, around 17.8 by 72.8. And you just block off these 3 entrances, and you have this whole area all to yourself. But you also have, you got Carnivore Island real close, you got these 2 mountains real close, lots of metal here. You can get your Uteranus right over here, any mammoth you need. The obelisks are all pretty far away. Like, this is like the one corner of the map that doesn't have an obelisk. I guess the green might actually be the closest way down here. It's like, so that's one drawback for this one and why I'm not basing there this wipe. But if you're willing to transport your dinos long distances, it's a great spot. I mean, there's nowhere that you're not going to have to transport them at least one great distance. And as you can see, you also have your very own loot drop. And apparently it can even be yellow. I don't know if I want to mess with that Therizino. Is that a Microraptor too? We might just leave that there and move on to the honorable mentions. Let's check out some honorable mentions before we move into the top 3. And we'll see you there. Alright, now we're going to squeeze a few honorable mentions in here. Things that aren't really top 10 in my world, but are still pretty useful bases, have their purpose if you want to do them. The first one of the honorable mentions is, of course, Herbivore Island. I don't ever want to base here because it's too far away from everything. It's across the ocean. It'd be a pain to get dinosaurs back and forth. But it's Herbivore Island. It's safe. You can build a big old pen in here. Just wall in this little half crater. You got plenty. The water's plenty deep for water dinos, so you can definitely make it an all-in-one base. You got plenty of stone, plenty of wood. You even got some metal nodes up here. They might not be here right now because this is my single-player world, and I probably harvested them all recently. But metal does spawn up here quite a bit. Like, I don't know, 6 or 8 nodes, something like that. Not a whole bunch, but a good amount. So you want to make sure you don't build up here on the top, because otherwise they won't respawn. And you need them to respawn. But yeah, that's pretty much it about Herbivore Island. Let's move on to the next honorable mention. Alright, the next honorable mention is what I call it, like the Swamp Cliff. It's a pretty big, wide open area here. It's covered in trees now. Didn't used to have this many trees on it. But it's nice, big, and flat. It seems like it's still pretty flat in ASA. Yeah, it's flat enough. You can store a lot of dinos in here, put a lot of different buildings around, greenhouse, whatever you want to put in. It is about 80 by 38, thereabout. It's just south of the redwoods. You got the swamp near you, so it's not real north, but it's north enough. It's central enough that you're not completely out of the way. One of the reasons I don't want to base here this time, or why I've always decided against it, is no water. Like, there's just no real obvious source of water, and without water, I don't want to do it. Like, your best bet would be to daisy chain up from the swamp down here, which you're not going to be able to. Will be a challenging early game. It can be done, but it'll be a challenge. But yeah, a reasonable honorable mention, I think. Not terrible, but can be done. And now we'll move on to the next honorable mention. Alright, and our last honorable mention is basically just this entire giant field between the 2 big mountains. If you want to build an absolute mega base, this is where you want to do it. It's so much open field. It's reasonably flat. It's not perfectly flat. It's got Therazinos, lots of Therazinos. Actually, seems like it might not be as flat as it used to be coming down here. But if you want a lot of dino storage, this is the place to do it. Oh, we got raptors. The only problem I have with this spot is no water. You will have to daisy chain water up from the central river. You have to daisy chain water from down here. And this location is about 65 by 68, extending north from there. Oh, we got an alpha Carno down here just going ham. It is a very dangerous area. You're going to have Rexes coming down the volcano. You're going to have Rexes and Gigas coming down the mountain, all these mountains. Depending how far north you go, you might even get Uranus coming out of the snow up here. So it's not a beginner area, really. Like, it's pretty dangerous. But if you want a lot of space, this is where you can find it. But no water, I don't build here. And oh, I think I forgot to give you the coordinates for the first honorable mention, Herbivore Island. It's all the way in the bottom right. Looks like 89 by 89. Just, if you don't know, it's way down the bottom right. And now you know. And now, back to the top 10 list and the top 3. Alright, starting out our top 3 up here at the top of the world is this little peninsula up here. It's got 2 different cliff faces on it that you can set up shop on. I thought about building like an arch bridge or just an archway across them. I think that'd be really cool. You got Carno Island right there, real easy. Let's give you the coordinates real quick. It's 26 by 74, and it's this whole peninsula up here is just a potentially amazing spot for a base. Like, when I first went into this wipe, this is where I thought I was going to build. And there's still a chance I do. And then I'm definitely going to put something up here. I might still put the archway there. Like, build some ruins, maybe. I don't know. But you got plenty of big flat area up here. You just do some, you can store a lot of dinos up here. You can even store a bunch of Rexes up here. There's that much room. And it comes down the hill a bit. Like, you can expand it into a village or an area. Where's it at? I went the wrong way. I come down the hill this way, and you got this little lagoon over here, which you could also just build over here. Have your main base be around here. A lot of water, plenty of water around to keep your stuff going. Oh, what is that? I'm being attacked by a bird. I don't know what it was. Oh, is that a Microraptor? I hate those things. But you got a drop over here. I'm not sure how high this drop can go. It's typically around this blue, though. I'll take all that. And like, it's pretty far north, so you got a little bit of a trek to get to the metal. You can get metal over here in the snow too if you got your warm gear. Oh, we got compies. What is going on? Alright, sorry about that. Alright, where was I? Metal. You can get metal on the mountains. You're real close to Carnivore Island, so it's easy to get your Rexes. But no cryopods, so you gotta swim them across these channels. So that's terrifying. So yeah, really the only drawbacks is this is pretty much as far as you can get away from all of the useful spots. Like, as far away as you can get from all the obelisks, all the caves. There's not really anything close at all except Carnivore Island. And like, the mountains are reasonably close to get your metal, but that's about it. Which I think that's why it's only number 3, and why I probably won't base there this wipe cycle. But yeah, let's move on to number 2 now and see where we go. Alright, coming in at number 2 on this list, and a strong contender for where I put my base this wipe, is pretty much the most center place you can be on the map, to be the closest to absolutely everything. On the map, it is right here on the river, in the middle. You got volcano, metal, cave right in here. You're equidistant from all the different obelisks. Green's probably a little closer, I guess, but whatever. So like, nothing's real close, but nothing's super far either. But this, it's basically this big old peninsula right here. It used to be stone in Ark Evolved, but they covered it with grass and trees. So you gotta clear it off, which ain't that big a deal. Fiume over here making noises at me. But you got a lot of places, a lot of room to store dinos. Just got to wall it off to make it safe so that nothing comes down the mountain at you. You don't want a Rex or a Giga just wandering down and getting in your base and eating all your tames. You got water close enough that if you, depending on where you put your greenhouse, you might not have to daisy chain any of the water tanks. But if you do, it's only gonna have to be one, so it shouldn't be that big a deal for water. And yeah, that's number 2. Let's move on to number 1. Alright, and number 1, you probably could have guessed it. Maybe you guessed it. Especially if you've been watching my new series. Is the hidden lake, or whatever lake they call this, in the Redwoods. Redwoods Lake? Does it have a specific name? Just Redwoods Forest? Alright, whatever. But this is where I'm probably going to build my base for this playthrough. Like, I think I want a little more challenge of just being in the Redwoods. Have the Thylacoleo threat. And all the other threats that are available here. Metal's close. Got plenty of water around here, ringing this island in the middle. Terror birds are way too loud still. On the map, it is right here on the west side of the Redwoods, about 80 by 32. Real easy to spot from the air if you're really high. Be careful coming in low, because Thylacoleo on the big trees will dismount you and begin to eat your face on the way to the ground. They do not mess around. There's it's a cave round right to the east of here. Yeah, okay, right over here to the east. And then there's also right over here. I haven't been over there yet. Wow, there is a pretty good mountain for metal and crystal. It's still in the Redwoods. And you got the volcano right to the north, so it's not too big of a walk to go to the final boss when you're ready for that. It's relatively central. You got the red obelisk down here, green over here. Blue's still pretty far away, but like something's gonna be far away no matter where you're at on this map, basically. But yeah, this is one of my favorite looking locations that I've never actually based at. So I'm probably gonna base here this time. And that's why it's number 1. And with that, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. If you want to see more great content coming out every week, be sure to subscribe. You can hit the bell if you want your phone to make noise. And yeah, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Don't get jumped by a Thylacoleo in the forest. And we'll see you next time.